very, very rarely, a perfect episode of sci-fi comes along. I'm going to be watching some of those perfect episodes suggested by yourself and ones I've picked, and I'm going to be telling you all about them. Welcome to Sidetrack, your sci-fi TV and movie channel, while I watch Firefly out of gas. First thing I got to say is that Firefly is one of my favourite sci-fi shows of all time. And there are several brilliant episodes. The Train Job, Our Mrs. Reynolds, Janestown. The song from Janestown was just amazing. Ariel, War Stories. To be honest, almost all of the episodes are absolute gold. But perfection is a little bit more. And a beauty in the imperfections as well. It doesn't have to be the best written, the best. It's, when there's a perfect storm of just everything comes together. Out of Gas is just one of those episodes in any sci-fi that is just genius. It was written by Tim Minear, and that immediately actually fills me with a lot of confidence, because even though Joss Whedon gets a lot of the credit for Firefly, Tim Minear actually did a lot of the heavy lifting, wrote a lot of the really brilliant episodes and did a lot of the work. Now, I actually heard a rumour about 8 or 9 months ago that Disney had approached Tim Minear about returning and rebooting Firefly. Now, a lot of people have said, you can't do it without Joss Whedon. My argument is, you can do it without Joss Whedon if you've got Tim Minear. Now, it doesn't like that rumour actually turned into anything, because not long after I heard that actually Disney were dropping their plans to reboot Firefly for now, because they want Nathan Fillion to return, and that's the only way they think the show can actually succeed, is if they get Nathan Fillion back, maybe after The Rookie. But when that reboot does happen, let's hope Tim Minear is back in the frame. Watching sci-fi, cup of tea. Does life get any better? The episode opens with an empty, dead Serenity, and then we see Mal fall into the shop, seriously injured, but we don't know why. It's one of the beautiful things about this episode, that it's actually shot in basically 3 different bits that intertwine with each other and tell the story together. But we're hooked immediately with the mystery of what the hell is going on. We then see Mal come aboard the Serenity with Zoe for the first time. It's very funny. Zoe is not impressed.
She won't be winning any beauty contests anytime soon, but she is solid. Ship like this, be with you to the day you die.
Because it's a death trap.
That's not...
A ship that doesn't run, a ship that is, well, got stuff living in it. It's not the Serenity we've seen before, but it does give us that hint of the beginning of this series that we love so much, and we get to see more of that as the dead Serenity that we see at the beginning slowly becomes the family that we see at the start of the series. And here's the opening credit. Take me where I cannot stand. I won't sing anymore. They're laughing and they're joking around the dinner table like any real family. We even see Simon trying to tell a joke, not his forte. But then they bring him a cake because on the wire they've said his birthday, because he's a wanted criminal. So of course they have his date of birth on his, wanted posters. I really love that they bring this family together to only then have the fire. A fire the River sees coming. The whole sequence with the fire, when the engine blows, stops running and kills the Serenity basically because of one small part that's bust, is one of the best scenes in all of Firefly from a special effects point of view. The flames burn through the ship. They seal the doors, and then Wash and Mal run up and they open the main cargo bay, sucking all the air out and sucking the fire out. The Serenity ends up breathing fire out into space. It is a seriously cool special effect. And as I said, one of the best ones in the entire series. The crew are scared out of their minds. Zoe, one of the strongest characters in the series, is injured, and Wash doesn't want to leave her side. But Mal tells him he's got to go up to the bridge. He's got to help them get going again, or they're all dead. Wash won't leave his wife. And we get to see another side of Mal now. The side of Mal that probably got him through the war. The side of Mal that isn't all lovey-dovey and caring for his family, basically. And that's how he considers the crew of the Serenity, his family. He puts Wash against the wall and tells him, I'm not asking. I am telling you, get up there and do your damn job. Throughout this episode, we see flashbacks to how the crew actually joined the Serenity. We've already seen when Zoe first sees the Serenity and is not impressed. We then get to see how the rest of the crew joins. Now, we've already seen in the first episode, the pilot episode, how Shepard Book joined the crew and how Simon and River joined. But now we get to see Wash, Jane, Inara, and Kaylee. First time we see Wash, he has a massive ginger moustache, and Zoe basically says, something about him bothers me. I suspect this is one of those times, like my marriage, when my goatee or beard gets a little bit longer, and the wife says, you bother me. And I know that's time to shave. As I said, this episode flashes backwards and forwards through time. Again, now in the future, present, Mal has been shot. He's seriously injured. We still don't know what happened, but we do know that he's going to shoot himself up with adrenaline. From the moment before, we see the doctor shooting a shot of adrenaline directly into Zoe's heart as he desperately tries and fights to save her life. But Mal is alone. I'd have quite liked to have seen more about this dumbass mechanic that they have that basically we see diddling Kaylee up against a wall. He was quite a fun character. I quite liked him. But I do love this sign because, hey Mal, why do we need two mechanics? We really don't. And Kaylee joined the crew. Kaylee's actually probably my favourite character in all of this, and I love the actress as well. She's always on Twitter, and I message her quite a lot. I'm so desperately hoping she might reply one day. But she's just adorable, but also genuinely a genius. When she realises she can't fix the Serenity, it nearly kills her because she almost has a symbiotic relationship with the Serenity. She actually says, Serenity tells me when there's something wrong normally. I didn't know this. I didn't see it coming, Captain. I'm so sorry. And she's, really feels like she's let everybody down. When we meet Inara, we immediately see the strange sort of character of Mal. That he is so honourable, but then will call Inara a whore. But then he will call Inara a whore to her face. Even though he puts his life at risk in another episode to save a bunch of whores, he still doesn't have an issue with saying that to her face. Why is that? It's basically because he doesn't think it's an honourable profession. He's an old-fashioned kind of guy. But the next introduction we see is by far the best of the introductions of all the family. When we first meet Jane. Even though Mal calls her a whore in the episode a second ago, we then see Mal and his other side of his personality. When he follows Inara onto the shuttle because they're about to use it to run and try to survive just a little bit longer. Inara says, get out the way, you don't even know how to use this damn thing. And he's still there looking, checking. He loves Inara. He hates what she does for a living because he's jealous. But he loves the woman. And not just in a romantic way. As I say, the crew of the Serenity are Mal's family. And he is terrified about what's about to happen. Mal now prepares to go down with the ship. Now, Inara says, you don't have to die alone. Come with us. Be with us. And he says, no, you can't. The shuttle takes 4. I can't come. She says, don't be silly. What difference is it going to make? Well, Mal has already made his mind up. He's already made the decision that he will stay with Serenity until the end. That is his home, and he always knew he was going to die alone anyway. And he wasn't going to die anywhere else other than the Serenity. Mal's savior appears. A radio signal comes through. A ship has detected a signal that they sent out to mess with their navigation and force them to stop. They then suspiciously and carefully arrive, wondering whether this might be some sort of trap. Mal says, look, you know I'm dying. All I need is this little part and you can save my life. But then it wanders into probably my favourite scene in the whole episode. We meet Jane for the first time. Jane and his old crew have caught Mal and Zoe. They start talking about, do you get your own room? What share do you get? And Jane is like, I get like 10% and I have to share a room with this little hairy over here. And they basically talk Jane into joining the crew there and then. It's the best interview process I've ever seen.
Private room? Jane! Your own room, full one of the kitchen, whole shot.
Jane, I ain't asking.
Shut up.
Jane just turns and shoots one of his old team in the leg. It's actually a perfect way of introducing the Jane character, who is a little confrontational at times, let's put it that way. The Saviours bring the catalyzer. Mal says, look, you take whatever you need. I just need that little no-part catalyzer. And the crew that have come to save him turn on Mal. And obviously shoot him in the gut. But Mal ain't an idiot. He was ready for the possibility of being double-crossed. He'd hidden a weapon, and he pulls it on the Saviours. He tells them, get off my damn ship. And they leave. This is now going into where we see the beginning of this episode, with Mal injured, alone, with very little hope. But at least he's got the catalyst. So Mal fights his way through the ship, losing blood, dying, desperately trying to get to the engine room so that he can put this part in that Kaylee had showed him where it goes earlier, because he has no clue how his ship works. But he knows roughly where it's going. He's disorientated. He can barely stand. He falls over a lot. He never does get to the button that will call the shuttles back. But then he wakes up and everything's fine. The crew are there. The catalyzer's working. The ship is alive again. And all is well. All because Zoe, while she was unconscious, couldn't do anything. But when she woke up aboard the shuttle, she demanded they went back immediately. And nobody disagrees with Zoe Washburn. I love how actually Mal is all hooked up to Wash and basically getting a blood transfusion. So they're all both a bit dopey.
Yeah. Try not to speak.
Again, the episode starts with a dead Serenity. A cold ship. Mal dying on his own. We see the family that live aboard this vessel. And at the end of the episode, that family does what families do best. They come together and they help each other when things look their darkest. Family really is one of the biggest themes in Firefly for me. And it's also one of the reasons why I love it so much. They have a dysfunctional uncle, Jane. They have a dad in Mal. They have the little sister in Kaylee. The know-it-all brother in Simon and the crazy sister in River. Not quite sure where Anara fits in. The prostitute mom? I don't quite know. But they are a family as dysfunctional as they are. And the one family member I think I will miss the most if ever they do return with a Firefly reboot is Shepherd Book. He was the wise old granddad. And will be missed. The episode ends with the voiceover again, saying, hey, she's a beauty. You buy this ship, you treat her proper, she'll be with you the rest of your life. And then we look up and it's not the Serenity. Mal turns round and sees the Serenity off in the distance and falls in love instantly. Firefly is, for me, one of the very few perfect series. It didn't go on for long enough to get ruined, maybe. But Out of Gas is genuinely one of the greatest episodes of sci-fi ever made. It is perfect in every way. Perfectly written, perfect tone, a brilliant storyline that hooks you very early on, that tells you more about the crew. We find out so much more about this show from this episode than probably any other episode. It is sincerely and honestly perfect sci-fi. But guys, get to the comments and tell me what you think. Is this episode perfection? What do you actually think of the Firefly series? And what do you think about the possibility of Disney bringing it back? Also, I really desperately need to know what other perfect episodes of sci-fi are out there that I can then come along and watch with you. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/sidetrack where most of our new videos appear first. And for a small contribution each month that really supports the channel, you get to see them without the adverts. As always, guys, please stay safe and I'll see you next time.